Hiya, I'm Gordon Robson. I'm 68, getting on a bit. Politically, I've been interested in politics now for some, what would be 20, some 40 odd year, although I've never been totally active 100%, but I've had the interest, which you will find out shortly.
So, first question for you, Gordon, is what's your political history? Who have you voted for in the past, and who do you think has done well over the years?
Well, like I said, some 40 odd year ago, when I lived in Stoke-on-Trent, I worked in the pit on the coalface, and at that time it was a close shop. You had to join the union, and because you were in the union, you were automatically a member. Sort of paid a levy towards the Labour Party, so you were a Labour voter, you know. So that's the way it was for a lot of years. The first taste of getting involved with politics, getting the whole interest, was when I was helping canvass for an MEP, Mark Fisher, who was just starting out at the time, and I went round canvassing with him, and it was quite a thrill actually, and that was my first taste of being involved, and it was great. And I thought, wow. So as the time went on, the interest grew stronger and stronger, although with the Labour Party it didn't hold out, not all the time, it sort of waned a bit. Who have I voted for? Well, I've always voted Labour until I got to a point where I said, I'm fed up with the way things are going here. Why am I voting Labour all the time? We need a change. And that was the first time when Margaret Thatcher put up, I actually voted for somebody else, and I actually voted for Margaret Thatcher. And it was the biggest mistake, personally, I'd ever done, after I seen what she'd done, especially to the coal mines, which she devastated them, I never voted for Tory again after that. In fact, if the truth be known, I went off politics. Although it was in my mind, I just couldn't think of it. I'd had enough. Then, of course, 24 years ago, I came over here to live, and as you know now, well, everybody will find out that I'm involved with the Liberal Democrats, and there was a reason for that. I actually got asked if I wanted to join the party. Now, I've always been a people's person, and looking at politics, I'm thinking, well, let's look at the Conservatives, let's look at the Labour, and let's look at the Liberal Democrats. The Conservatives, in my opinion, were way over the top with, let us look after the people with the money because they are the people who create the jobs, baloney. Right, okay, let's look at the Labour Party. We're always led to believe that the Labour Party is for the working man. Well, it's not working that way. It isn't. The Liberal Democrats, I think, is the middle ground party, the fair party. They either go that way or that way. They stand in the middle and they say, look, we are for the people. We are for fairness. Not to the right, not to the left, and that's where I am today.
Okay, so the next question I'd like to ask is, why did you choose to get involved with the Liberal Democrats?
Well, like I said, I've got this thing going in my mind where I'm very disillusioned with the way politically my mind has been going between the Conservatives and the Labour Party. Something happened to us about 4 months ago where I actually became involved with a local web-based radio station. And I asked this person, who was a councillor, by the way, in Winsford Council, to come on my show so I could interview her. And then all of a sudden, a week later, her dad, who was involved with the Liberal Democrats, who is involved with the Liberal Democrats, came to the door at 7 o'clock in the morning. Can I have a word with you? Can you come to my house this afternoon? I said, yeah. And I thought, uh-oh, there's something I've done wrong here, So when I went, he asked me the direct question, how would you like to join the Liberal Democrats? Why? I think you would be good to stand for the local council. I thought, and the bell started ringing, and wow, because going back in the past, thinking about my political views and the way I am, suppose I reckon a people's person. Well, this is what I want. This is what I want to do. So I joined the party, I paid me a little bit of a fee, I filled the forms in, and then the next thing I know, I'm standing for council as a Liberal Democrat. It can't get any better than that.
Okay, so the next question I'd like to ask is, why did you personally want to get involved? And is there any issues that you were looking to address in particular?
Why do I want to get involved? Well, like I said a couple of minutes ago, I've always classed myself as a people's person. And if I can just reflect back to when I mentioned about getting involved with the local web-based radio, my shows are all about the community. Everything I talk about, interviews I have, they're all to do with the community. Now, being involved with the Liberal Democrats and then hopefully getting elected as councillor, I can extend that, what I'm doing from the radio shows I'm doing, to actually doing it for the people of Winsford. Okay, another reason why I want to get involved, I just love Winsford. I do, honestly, genuinely. It's easy to sit here in front of a camera and be having an interview and saying, oh yeah, and say the right things. But I genuinely do like Winsford. So the way I am politically and the way in my mind I work about being, doing things, here I am. I want to work for Winsford, the people of Winsford. What issues? Okay then. We're all up in arms about, 100 houses or so going to be built on the Flashes. Why? The Flashes is one of the most beautiful areas around, and it's the thing about Winsford. You talk to people about Winsford and say, oh yeah, I've seen the Flashes, and people know it. So why build houses on it? Okay, other issues. The shopping centre. Why can't we have a shopping centre that is where people can go to it and walk around it with a smile on their face and be happy to know that they're going to a shopping centre worth going to, instead of seeing all these empty shops? Let's have them build. Let's have a community where we've got everything at our disposal at the shopping centre. Roads. Condition of roads, looking after them. And I've got this grand image, honestly, something I've thought about for years. Why can't we have something like, say, Nantwich does, the best kept town as regards, say, the floral town? They have flowers and things all over the place. Yeah, well, let's Winsford do, let's have some colour. And let's have some community spirit, And this is what I want to work to. I want to try to work to get Winsford the place to be.
Next, how can you help people in the local area?
Well, given that I'm lucky enough to be elected as a councillor within the council, I think I'll be in the prime position where if people have got this view, this problem or an idea, or they can come to us, and I can go in an official capacity to go and know the right people, the right situations, to go and try and sort this out, and get the people the best of what they can. I might not succeed all the time, but I can surely go and try and say, look, we've got a situation here, what can we do about it? Whether I do it individually or go to the Liberal Democrat Party, the councillors, and say, look, can we fetch this to the forefront and make this an issue and get it sorted out? So hopefully this is what I can do for the people.
Okay, and then now I'd like to ask, where do you see yourself in 3 years?
3 years. 3 years as you get older is nothing. Time flies just like that. So 3 years politically.
Yeah.
Is that what you're
asking?
Politically.
Politics, yeah.
Okay, still with the Liberal Democrats, I don't think I'll leave them, because once I get my teeth into something, I shall never run off, I'll not defect into somewhere else. But in 3 years' time, I want to be something within the Liberal Democrat Party, certainly on a local level, not where people sort of like, wow, isn't he great, wow, this and that, but something to be a person where they can be approached and known that I will do my best for the people of Winsford, you know, and just to say, well, look, I've done the job, I'm doing the job, this is what they want and this is what they're getting, and that's all that matters to me.
Okay, now I'd like to ask, how do you think the Liberal Democrats will do in the general election?
I would think, realistically, it could be a tricky bit of a question that when you consider the climate of what's going on, political climate. Whereas, you know, one of the things I've never agreed with political parties, and you're getting it mainly from the two big parties, the Conservatives and Labour. They didn't do this, they didn't do that. Why didn't they do this? Why didn't? And if you look at it, you know, and if you watch it, the Liberal Democrats, they don't really do that, you know, and so I could see it could be tricky for them. I would like to think they come out in a strong position, because you've still got a hardcore generation of voters who are undecided and they don't know which way to go. And this, I mean, I don't think it's for Nick Farage, you know, the UKIP, that they're thinking. They need a party where the stability, and like I said before, fairness. There's somebody in the middle who's not going to go that way or that way, you know. I would like to think that they could come out in a strong position, but we will find out in a week's time.
Okay, following on from that question, I'd like to ask, what's your personal opinion of Nick Clegg?
Nick Clegg, I think he's genuinely is there with the right idea, but he's not strong enough with his pushing. I think he could be a lot more determined in his approach and his presentation. Can I give you an example of this in relation to the coalition between the Liberal Democrats and the Conservatives? I mean, when you think the Liberal Democrats actually held the power to say we will put Labour in or Conservatives in, they chose to go to the Conservatives, and yet look in the past, Nick Clegg, the shrinking man, Nick Clegg, the forgotten man, you know, he could have done with a lot more push, because he's got all the ideas, he's got the right things in his mind going on, you know, but he needs a bit more determination to pull it over, you know. Don't let anybody stand in his way. If I'm going to do it, go and do it, and I think that's what he needs.
Okay, now I'd like to finish off the last question, a bit light-hearted. What's your perfect Sunday?
Well, I would like to know where this fits in politically. Well, it doesn't fit in at all, does it? No. What's my perfect Sunday? Okay then. On a Sunday, I'm going to mention me show again. On midcheshireradio.co.uk, I do what they call the flashback of the 60s. Yeah. And it's Geordie's flashback, and I play all 60s music. I look forward to it, I really enjoy it. And my perfect Sunday is to get up and have a big greasy fry up and saunter off over to the radio station, do my flashback show with there's a guy comes with us, he's actually learning the ropes. He's going to be doing his own show, and he sits there with us to do me 2-hour flashback show, to come back home and just have a shower and sit there and watch television and just, or maybe play the guitar, you know. Okay, I'm not the greatest guitarist in the world, but I think I'm okay. Just to sit there, play the guitar, or learn a bit more of the banjo. Yeah, I play the banjo now, sort of, yeah. Perfect Sunday for me is just to chill out. Nothing too exuberant, you know, nothing. And of course, I've got to say, look, I've got to start my day off with my papers, delivering my papers, which you know about.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that, it seems simple, but that's my perfect Sunday. Just laid back, easy going. I don't want any more. Just, my youngest lad now is 19, going up for 20 this month, and we very rarely see him. So basically, the time I've got is with my wife. And to be able to do these things and just the extra time, like after I've done my show, come back, I'll be there with my wife. You can't get any more than that. It's just absolutely wonderful, you know. To me, I'm drinking plenty of tea. Got to say that.
Okay, well that's the last of the questions that I've got to ask. So I'd just like to finish off by saying thanks very much to Gordon for doing this interview with me.
And I want to thank you for inviting me to be interviewed. It's the first time I've been interviewed and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I just hope I've given you some good answers to further whatever course you're on. And thank you very much.
Cheers, Gordon. Thanks.